All right, hey guys. So today in the class, character development class, we worked on the scribbles to make spaceships. So earlier in class, I start out with a scribble on the page, and then I pull these spaceships out of the scribble. And if you remember, this was here to show you the smaller the white dots, the larger it makes the ship because you automatically start thinking these are windows. I went through and I made these ships. I never really finished with this one. And this one I just totally just erased. I couldn't figure out what to make out of that thing. So I don't know. It just nothing came out of that one. So anyway, in this one I didn't really finish. So these are the ones as far as I went so far on them, and I decided I'm going to work on this one right here. So that's about what I'm going to do. So this is a public video. Be publicly available to everyone. I might put part of the other one on there. Just edit it and just show the part where I was doing the pulling these ships out of the scribble, because I think that's pretty important. If you're going to share it with people, I think it's pretty cool. All right, so here's the ship. It's a bit twisted in the design because, I was kind of just going along with this, scribbling it. So I made a brand new canvas. I made it. I made HD format. So I made it 1920 by 1080, and I made it 300 ppi. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. And I just simply copied this one. It's still selected. Deselect it. And I pasted it right here. Okay, and I blew it up a little bit bigger so I could actually work on it. So it was just really a thumbnail, scribbly thumbnail before this. So I'm just using a regular old round brush, nothing fancy, and using black and white, and that's all there is to it. That's all the magic there is involved in this, honestly. My opacity is at 75, and my flow is at 82%. So I keep the opacity. I like to keep the opacity all the way up, but for this kind of thing, I'm keeping it kind of low, to at least gives me a little more that I'm implying things. Okay, so let's continue working on this. So this is the part where things start coming together, and I might still prototype this a little bit more now that it's bigger and I can see it better. Hopefully, I won't ruin it. I like where it's going, but and that can change real quick though. You can just the thumbnails can really. It's funny because when you're doing thumbnails, thumbnails can really can look really cool. I mean, and then when you try to start making something out of the thumbnail, all of a sudden it loses its magic. I don't even. It's whatever. So hopefully we aren't going to lose any magic on this one. So, yeah. So what I got going here is kind of like the old school design of, they're not really jet engines, but I like the design of jet engines. Okay, so my design is a little retro. So this ship, and let me show you who this ship. So this ship belongs to these characters. Okay. So if you're in my character design class, this is our wallpaper I use as a little backdrop, and it says character design here for the title of the class. These are just characters I made up, and I put them in this kind of usual suspects type staging here. And this was a later addition. This character was done later after these characters were already done. This one was added in later. I took out a different character that was here, replaced this character with this one. But this is part of the team now. So these are bounty hunters for a book, one of my books, and one of my 3 comics I have working on at the moment. Not just one, but 3. Because I can't help it. I have all these ideas, and I wanna make them. So I just keep starting new books. I really need to just stick with one of the ones And since I am the only one working on them, I have nobody working with me. Yeah, obviously they're not getting done anytime soon. I'm trying. I'm working on it. Okay, so yeah. So I'm just gonna kind of just what I'm doing now, since we've got this, we're gonna finish this out. So just like I did with the characters, the character design, which I also have posted. If you're not in my class and you're just checking these videos out, I did the same kind of concept with character design, where I took the scribbles and I pulled characters out of them. So if you're curious, they're on my YouTube channel as well. So I made that dot way too big. I like the bolts that I'm going to put in here, but I don't want it to be that big. I made it much too big. So, okay. And it's funny because I was just working with Illustrator on a logo piece just a couple minutes ago, and you can get very procedural. Sorry, you can get very procedural with Illustrator, and you do things and then you tell it to do it. It precisely does repeat it. But you can actually write scripting and all that for Photoshop. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of old school on this Photoshop. I'm just really kind of just do it as it, just kind of let it kind of happen, happy accidents and all that stuff. The reason I mention this because think of these bolts right here, because I'm just literally just putting them in where they seem like they would go, and they're not really same distance. I'm kind of using a rhythm instead to make the distancing on the bolts. So but if it was Illustrator, I could actually literally set it to go to put the bolt every so often. It would put the bolt, and you could technically, you can draw anything in Illustrator. I mean, that's what it's for. I'm just not I use Illustrator for, it has its purposes. I teach it. I just don't when it comes to, sorry, I'm gonna have to pause the video in a minute and get a drink of this stupid, something got in the back of my throat and it's just driving me crazy. Anyway, but my default is to go to Photoshop or earlier in my class I showed the program called Sketchbook Pro, which is a really nice program. It is free, 100% free, and the only reason that I'm actually kind of not using it right now, because I really do like the way it does mechanical stuff, is they changed the ruler tool on it. I don't know why they changed it, but they did, and it wants a touch screen manipulation now to operate the ruler, and I could not figure out. I didn't want to sit there and play with it for a long time while I was recording my class to try to figure out how to not do it with a touch screen. But I don't have this monitor I'm using is not touchscreen. It is a Cintiq, but I think I purposely did the non-touchscreen version because touchscreen actually gets on my nerves. So I can't make the ruler move. This is basically what it comes down to. So I've got to figure that out because I do like that program, but I really like the rulers in it, but for some reason I can't get the ruler to do what I want. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go right into Photoshop and do it, which is working fine. I'm going to pause this and get a drink. I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I got something to drink that will stop me, hopefully, from coughing in your ear. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm just kind of bringing the ship into kind of making it a thing, you know. So far, it's been well, it was just scribbles, really. I mean, it's still kind of just really is scribbles, but now I'm kind of making those scribbles into something. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm figuring that if this was a spaceship and it really was using Windows, not the operating system, but Windows, like, you know, for visual, I was thinking that they're going to want to see, I mean, sure, they probably have monitors and stuff, but you know, they probably want to be able to see as much as they can out the windows. Man, I thought the coughing was going to stop with the drink, but apparently it doesn't want to. And then these were the smaller windows of, like, through crew quarters or the hallway or whatever this is here on this part of the ship. Since I'm inventing the ship, this can be whatever I want it to be. So to me, it's I don't know, maybe it is crew quarters, or maybe so. Technically, the door on the ship. So if that's gonna be crew quarters, I'm thinking that the scale of a person for this ship would be about, say, I don't know, maybe about this big. That's a good scale for a person for that ship, I think. So a person, that would be the scale. So, pretty good sized ship. All right. That way, it can, you know, it can travel deep space, and pretty much probably, I'm gonna guess this is where they live. You know, this is their home. I know Cowboy Bebop. It's gonna be coming to Netflix, and people are already complaining about. I'm like, why are you? Stop complaining about stuff. Just enjoy the show. Maybe it's not what you. You know what? Make your own. Stop complaining. Anyway, but that's beside the point. So anyway, people are already complaining about it, but whatever. Cowboy Bebop's coming, which is very cool. I'm just happy that's happening, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because they live on their ship. That's the ship they live on. And I always felt that, well, obviously Lando did live on the Falcon, the Millennium Falcon, because in the Han Solo movie, which if you've never watched it, you definitely should. It is, I don't care what anybody says, it is one of the best Star Wars movies, and I've seen all of them. I'm old enough that I saw Episode 4, which was the very first one made, in a drive-in movie theater when it came out. So I think I'm a pretty good judge of what is a good Star Wars movie. And I feel Solo is a really good one. It's one of my top favorites. It really is. Empire for the longest time. Empire was my favorite. It was just Empire Strikes Back was, you know, it's where Boba Fett got introduced. It's where they had the AT-ATs or AT-ATs, however you want to say it. The walk across the snow, in the Battle of Hoth. It had Vader revealing his the lineage to Luke. I won't ruin it in case for some reason you haven't seen it. You know, it is the best. It was just my favorite. However, then Rogue One came out. You know, Rogue One is now my favorite Star Wars movie, and I did like Episode 1, 2, and 3. Episode 1, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn fight Darth Maul in Episode 1. That is my favorite lightsaber battle of all the movies. There is no better lightsaber battle. Now, where Ahsoka fights Maul in the animated Clone Wars animated series. The final fight she has with Maul there. That one is an amazing fight too. That is really good. So Maul's just a really great character to have lightsaber battles with. And then where Ahsoka in Mandalorian, Ahsoka has a great fight with the I don't remember her name. I just lost. Where she has a it's not a lightsaber fight, but the woman has the spear made out of Mandalorian steel. Like, oh my god, I'm really gonna get in trouble now with the nerds. I'm not remembering. Anyway, but she has the fight with that woman, and then Mando ends up with the spear. But anyway, he ends up with, I don't want to ruin that too, just in case you haven't seen the last episode. But that was a great fight, but it wasn't the lightsaber battle with Darth Maul in episode 1 was the best. And you know what? It was even still better than the lightsaber battle between Anakin and Luke, which is, I feel, the most anticipated built-up lightsaber battle of all the movies. It's the one that you know, it's like, well, there's the one in episode 4, but that wasn't a battle. He just stood there and they slapped sabers and then he fell down and disappeared. There was nothing. But the fight where Obi-Wan actually fights Anakin in episode 3, that was a good battle, but Qui-Gon and Anakin fighting Darth Maul was still the best fight. I think the common element here is Darth Maul. Anyway, back to Solo. Just a really great movie. I just really liked it. It's a really good movie. And I wholeheartedly suggest that if you should really give it a chance. If for some reason you were snobbing it, you shouldn't. You're the one missing out. Go ahead, keep snobbing it. You're just gonna lose out. It's your loss if you snob that movie for whatever silly reasons you think that it's gonna affect somebody. It's not. So, like, if it was gonna affect anything, it would have affected them opening weekend. So if you just, that would have been the time if you were trying to somehow prove a point by keeping your one ticket away from them. It would have been opening weekend. So at this point, just watch the movie and watch it open-mindedly, and it's really good. Anyway, and I don't even know how I got in that subject. So much Solo. Yeah. So in that movie, we see that Lando Calrissian was living on the Falcon. That's the point. That's where I was trying to get with this. It was his actual. He lived on, and then I'm pretty sure that Han Solo and Chewbacca lived on the Falcon too. Although, the funny thing is, we got to see Lando's living quarters, and we always assumed there was one there for Han, and I'm assuming it was the same room. We just never seen it. I was speaking with some writers. I was talking with some writers at the MegaCon here in Orlando. And somehow we got in the subject of the fact that, and I could be totally wrong here, but I believe that The Mandalorian was the first, it's first of the Star Wars movies anyway, for sure. And Spaceballs, if you want to count Spaceballs as an official, which Spaceballs is awesome, so I can count it as an official, as a real, not a Star Wars movie. It's definitely a parody, but it's a real sci-fi movie. But anyway, Spaceballs did show, and you're like, where are you going with this? Going with the fact that Mandalorian had a bathroom scene and even talked about bathrooms in the show. Now, uh, if you watch The Orville, which also a great show, which is a Star Trek parody, that one talks about using the bathroom, and I don't think I've seen anybody in the bathroom there. They've never shown a bathroom, but they've talked about bathroom and bathroom things quite a bit on that show. So, but the Mandalorian, they literally showed a space toilet, and I think that's one of the first space toilets I ever seen. Because I think even in Spaceballs, I think he like came out of the bathroom, but you didn't see in it. I don't remember, and I really should probably watch it. There might be a scene where he was in there. I don't know. But yeah, so Mandalorian I think could be one of the first shows to ever show a space toilet. Now I know there was episodes of Star Trek where you saw people coming from the shower or like the shower unit or something. Even back on the Next Generation. I believe there was people would take showers and whatnot. But as far as seeing a toilet, and I know Demolition Man actually did have a toilet. In fact, they made a joke about the seashells because Demolition Man had come from the past and he couldn't quite figure out how to flush the toilet, and everybody thought that was funny that he couldn't. So, and you did see the toilet in that, but that is a sci-fi movie, so how I got in this subject, I don't know. Oh, living in spaceships, yeah. So if the crew lives on this, and was kind of what I was going with here. So I don't know what this is. This is probably a turret on the back. So I'm assuming this looks like maybe this thing has guns all over it. It has this turret off the back. Now, this was a turret on the underside of the ship is where it originally was going to be. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of thinking maybe there's one on each side. Maybe they're a set of kind of wings or something down below. Like, so what I mean is, so if you looked at the ship from the front, I haven't figured out what it looks like from the front yet, but I'm working on it. There's the radar dish is kind of off to the side here, that radar dishy thing. The cockpit of the ship. And it has some type of a thing here I just put there. And then it has these kind of wing design thingies, and then the engines are out here, and it has this on both sides. Okay, so from the looking at the ship straight on, I'm thinking it looks something like this. Okay, so what these are, I'm thinking now, is that there's some type of a like that. They go. This is a thing here. The cockpit was here. Sometimes you make something in one direction, and then you look at it, and as a concept artist, you look at it, and you're like, well, I don't know if that works from the other direction now, but well. This radar dish is way too big for the rest of the ship. But and this is like this cannon in the back. Okay. But these engines are definitely I want these engines to be pretty big. Okay. So, and this is the air intake here. So yeah. So these are some type of these right here. Oops. These right here are that. Okay. So this is what I'm thinking now. I was gonna go with it being one right below it, like this kind of a thing. This is the original design of it, but now I'm thinking maybe one on each side. And the reason I don't have this as just one down below it, because, well, first of all, I like the way it breaks the shape. So I think without it, say like let's for fun, let's look at it without it, just to see what it looks like. Edit. Great thing about Photoshop. That's what it looks like. And it doesn't look bad without it. Just put it back on here. Now that I have it as a separate layer, I can play with it a little bit. I can actually move it smaller too. What if I put it here? What if it was the end of these wings out here? Which is also a thing. It actually looks good without it there. Or I'll put it here. So it could be the end of those kind of wings out there. That's not a bad. Okay, so let's see something. So let's edit. Let's. I'm spending a lot of time on this one little piece, but that's okay. Duplicate layer. I want to get it right in the first place. So I'm going to take this one and move it over here. So it's unchanged piece. So this one. Oops, this is. I took the copy out of the way. So it's all right. So this one, what if it was what if it was part of the wing assembly on here? So what if this was like this? So it literally come down like this is come down here. I don't know. This is I'm trying to decide whether I like it or not. It's like a reverse wingy thing there. Edit, free transform, maybe even flip it. I mean, that's the way it would seem to go, right? Kind of a thing like that. Actually doesn't look bad at all. I kind of like it now I did that. I like it better. Alright, well, I can leave that. And then this, I like it better than what I had there. And then this one, I can still take it. Oops. Wrong one. Leave that alone. I like that one. This one, I can take and put, I can still put it back there. But I can free transform it into this lower belly cannon type situation, but smaller. So that it doesn't seem quite as... So it's still a belly cannon now, but it's just a smaller version of it. That's not bad. So let's see here. So let's harden this. If this is a belly cannon design, let's make it so that it looks like it has some type of a rotation device on it, and it rotates. So this is definitely a gunship, you know, because they're bounty hunters. So if they get in trouble, they got to be all the way there. Basically, they got to be able to, you know, not be in trouble. If that makes sense. Yeah, I like that. So then on this part of it, I take this part off that I kind of stuck on there as the extra part. Because now this belly cannon does its rotation thing. So in this one, like I said, this is this big cannon in the back. This is this ridiculous size cannon. It's going to be back here that it rotates around. And it can rotate forward or back. It's like a giant gun. And this was like the belly cannon here. And there's two. Maybe this is a double one. Maybe there's two cannons in here. You know, so if you looked at it from the not under the belly, it would look something like have a rotation where it connects into the ship, whatever, and it would have two kind of guns coming off of it, machine gun type situation. So like the, you know, so it has that kind of situation going on. Like the Falcon actually has. It's funny because the Millennium Falcon in Solo, if you didn't see it, it only had, I believe it only had one gun. It had one gun on the, I think it was the top or the bottom, I don't remember. But then later, when Han had it, he had a gun at the top and the bottom of the ship. So, but what always got me about that design is I know it was supposed to be for the World War II type situation where it was supposed to be. So this is that. The World War II is supposed to be like a World War II gunning thing, a belly gun on a B-52 bomber type situation. However, I just thought it was a really bad design that the pilot, if you've got a limited crew, the pilot can't operate that gun. the biggest gun in the pilot can't operate it from the cockpit. I always thought that was a really overlooked design, and that of all the stuff he could fix on that, why wouldn't he fix it so that you can run the guns from the pilot seat? I just, remote control them somehow. I know they had, I think they had some type of a gun on the front, but a little gun or something, but it wasn't the same gun. So it wasn't the bigger gun that they always use. So I don't know. All right. So yeah. So this would be. I don't know. Here I'm just. I'll do a more detailed version of this, I guess, in a minute. But I just want you. That's what's there. Okay, cool. I like that. So let's take these layers and bring them down. Merge down. So I got rid of the big finny thing, but at the same time, I think it's better. I think it's a better design now, honestly. I think it worked out better for the overall design of the ship. So this one. So now, like I said, and this was the this right here was gonna kind of be like where the kitchen or the crew kind of living space for the crew. So they have like I think Firefly, in the Firefly they had the central dining area in the middle of the ship, and I don't think they had a window, but in mine it has a window. It has a skylight style window. Now what's here? Now here I think it'll be more portals for crew cabins. That's what's in there. So right next to the giant cannon, which is right behind. So the crew quarters would be kind of in here, and it's separate from where this big military cannon is right there behind it. So all right, so I just need to. All right, there you go. All right, and then now I'm just gonna go in here and make this look like it's stuff. Like the ship has little parts and gizmos and gears and things that spaceships would have. So portals and things and engine covers and bolts and these would be the window frames. Like I said, these, oops. Yeah. I made my line too. And then this line above this is too dark, so I need to pull it across. So, and remember, just like in, well, as far as if you've, I haven't got a chance to really talk to my class about this yet. So, those of you that if you're not in my class and you're watching this video, first of all, thanks for checking it out. Second of all, and if you have taken my class in the past and you enjoyed my videos and you're watching it, then you already know this information. But so if you remember, I'm just going to share it anyway. The metal always reflects light at the curves, where the metal curves. Okay, so even if it's painted, it's still wherever there's a curve, that's where the light's going to catch. And by curve, I'm talking like, so if it was like this, okay, the light is going to catch it. Well, obviously now it also depends where the light's coming from, but even in the low light, okay. So this was like, so this is metal. So remember, the light will always catch on the edges. The edges, the folds of the metal. That's where you find the light. And that top one, I should have made it longer so you can see the difference more. This is just like the whole top of it was lit up. So the light may be, so if the light was coming from, say, this general direction, okay, the darker part of the metal obviously would be in here, but right at these edges where the metal folds, the fold of the metal is where the light is going to shine on it, is gonna reflect the most. Okay, so the folds of the metal will be slightly illuminated by the light. Okay, and then of course if the light was coming in from the top, you would have reflections on the metal of the light. Okay, but you're still, and then you may have like a really bright reflection somewhere where the light's literally like shining right off of it because it's shining down on it. Okay, and it might even light this just slightly here, slightly. But the brightest point was going to always be the fold, spot where the metal folds. Okay, so just remember that. That's not the best thing, but I hope you get the point. So anyway, all right, so that being said, what I'm doing here now is I'm going through and I'm just kind of bringing out basically bringing out the edges of things. I like the idea of this, even though this is a spaceship, that it still has like full like bolts in it, like welds and rivets. I don't know, it's just I like rivets on things. So, and that's one of the things that made the Star Wars movies really kind of cool, is the fact that they had rivets and things on them. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep doing details. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to play this music in the background, and just really focus on stop doing lessons and just focus on really nailing it down. All right, so I can focus on what I'm doing. So I'm going to play this music in the background. Every time I play the video, the music's way louder than I can hear it. So hopefully it's not deafening you. And it's just the music from YouTube, so I can't guarantee it's good. So let's go ahead and just kind of nail the ship down. Okay. I'm using the shift key to make straight lines on these windows. Now, another thing I could do, and you can do, if you do 3D, because I do work with 3D programs too, you can take your ship design and take it into a program, Blender or ZBrush, or Maya or 3D Studio Max, whatever your preference is, and you could build your ship in 3D. And you know, you work it out to here, what things should look like, and then you can take it there and then build it in 3 dimensions. And I may do that, we'll see. But At the moment, I'm having fun kind of working it out here traditionally with paint. I'm kind of deciding what it looks like. Seriously, this is fun. Enjoy it. I actually literally look forward to, I've been all day. Other things I was doing, I was just keep thinking like, man, I can't wait. I can sit down and work on, continue working. I was doing this morning for my class, but I kept thinking all day about getting to sit down and continue working on it. I really enjoy doing this. It's so much fun. And you know what? When you get to do a job that you like and that you have fun doing it, man, that's great. I'm so lucky. I get to sit here and make stuff that's cool, and I get to teach you too. You know, I really do. I know I know maybe that sounds weird, but I really do enjoy teaching students, sharing this knowledge that I've gained over the years and whatnot. It's really enjoyable to see growth. To see my students get better, and even those of you that if you watch my videos and I don't even ever get the chance to talk to you or anything, I hope that you know, it would be cool. I don't know how I'd ever see that you got better, but you know what I mean. It would be something that'd be very cool. So. So these are some kind of air intakes here. I know it's a spaceship, but like I said, this spaceship design is going to be, my thought is that they can fly and go pretty much anywhere and not have to worry about, you know, can they fly in the atmosphere or whatnot. Like the Falcon. The Falcon can pretty much fly in atmosphere or not atmosphere. The Falcon is pretty indestructible, to be honest with you. The Millennium Falcon. If you watch Star Wars, and I'm talking about Star Wars again, but anyway, but the Millennium Falcon, that thing, man, they run into so much stuff with it, and it gets shot, and it's always fine. It doesn't. It runs into stuff all the time, and it doesn't break. I'm like, man, what is this thing made out of? Well, actually, in Star Wars, there's a material called plastisteel, and everything's made out of plastisteel. Well, the funny thing is, the plastisteel that they use on the spaceships is definitely not the plastisteel they use on the stormtrooper armor, because, man, those stormtroopers, you can full armored stormtrooper, you can still take them out with a stick. It's ridiculous. They hit them with a stick. In Rogue One, well, I'm not making fun of the movie yet because I love the movie, but they hit the stormtroopers with a stick, a staff, and took them out. So I'm like, really? I mean, I can see if they didn't have helmets or something. And Mandalorian, he hits them with his and actually, in Mandalorian, they based those gaffy sticks that he fights with. They're based off the sand because he was living amongst the sand people, and those are supposed to be his gaffy sticks from that. But at the same time, they were also based off the Malawi warriors. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From New Zealand, that he is the actor's real heritage. The Rock. don't know if The Rock is Malawi or not, but if you watch the, what do you call it, in Tubbs, or whatever that movie is that he made with Jason Statham, The Rock uses those type of weapons too. So they're the island warriors that paint their face. They're from New Zealand, and they paint their face with the like the demons and stuff, and they do the tongue, and they do the yelling and the dance. Yeah. So basically, the guy that plays Jango Fett, and then eventually Boba Fett, because he's a clone of Jango, and he's all the clone troopers, because they're all clones of Jango Fett. That actor who plays all those parts, man, can you imagine if he got a check for every single part he played? That would be awesome. Because he plays like thousands of actors. He gets a royalty check for every single. He would be like the highest paid actor, I think, in Hollywood. Well, whatever. I'm sure that doesn't happen. But anyway, the point is, I know it's not Malawi, but that is his heritage, cultural heritage, I believe. I was watching on the it's called Gallery. It's like the making of the Mandalorian. They show how they met with they talk to the actors and the directors and everything about how the show was made, and it's really cool because it really gets to see the inside and behind the scenes of a production of that magnitude. But anyway, so he said that those staffs he fights with, which are Tusken Raider, which were the Tusken Raider staffs, were originally based on, if you read the old Star Wars design books, they were based on Malawi and different African tribal weaponry. So it wasn't that far off. But that was pretty cool. Just a little bit of cool trivia there. So like I said, right here, I'm just trying to. Now, the 2/3 rule. So the 2/3 rule can be applied in this particular situation. And it's not quite it's not the 180 rule, and it's not quite the 2/3 where you divide your composition into 2/3 to set up your composition, but it does tie in with that sort of in a weird way. But anyway, so what the 2/3 rule in this particular case, instead of making every single thing 100% detailed, you leave things implied. So 2/3 of it is detailed, and 1/3 of it can be left to be implied, or 1/3 can be detailed, and 2/3 of it can be applied. So either way you want to do it. But for a spaceship, I think implying works better, because your imagination can make cooler things than you know what I mean. So you give them enough for their imagination to take over, and then let the viewer's imagination take over, do the rest. And to be honest with you, it will come out more successful than if you tried to nail down every version of it. Now, I say that, but there are some artists that do. I have been in the past. I have made stuff super detailed, and so some artists do. That's their thing. They make it ridiculously detailed, but sometimes you got to know when to hold back and when to make things more detailed. Because we live in the age of 3D, I think that the super detailed So if you're doing like say if you were doing a mechanical drawing, which I don't even know if mechanical drawing still exists anymore. But if you're doing a mechanical drawing, then you would do every little detailed piece because it has to be used in production or whatever. But if you're doing concept work, nowadays, most of your concept work is probably going to get turned into 3D. So so it's not always the consumer, if you will, the final consumer, the reader. They might not be always the ones that are there. I said you leave it up to them and let them make, but it's not be them. It might be the 3D artist who is because 3D art is definitely not implied. It's literally detail oriented, 100% detail. So 3D parts and whatnot. So it may be the 3D artist that's interpreting what you leave out. So your choice on how much you're going to trust the rest of your design team to build what they understand what you did for your design into 3D, or you do it yourself. There's that too. But at this stage, I'm going to leave a lot of it unfinished so that they can because I like the idea of the things implied. So if I do a 3D version of it, then I'll go through and I'll put all the details in. So maybe this is a missing panel here. So like you got all these panels and they're all riveted into place and whatnot, but that particular panel was missing. And if these rivets would be almost, look how big these rivets would be if a person is as small as I said they were to the thing, those rivets would be huge. But it's okay. They look cool. And your mind will kind of, if you don't think about it too much, your mind will adjust the scale accordingly for the rivets. Okay, so what I'm doing here now, again, I want to make this implications of things, but not. I don't like to leave too much vague because I find that then the design isn't as strong as it could be. But I also want to leave enough. I want to leave enough of it so that it, the implied from the consumer, the viewer, the reader, whatever, the watcher. That's why I say consumer. I think consumer is a good word for that. I want to leave it so that they can have some fun interpreting it, what might be there. I don't know if I don't know if this is a thing anymore, but when I was a kid, we didn't have the internet, so I remember we'd get there were Star Wars trading cards. And on the Star Wars trading cards, you'd have photographs from the movie, and they would have a little shot description. But one of the funnest things of that was literally you take it and you're looking at it, and you start analyzing the background. And I don't know, maybe I was the only one. I was a really weird kid. but I would analyze the. Probably was. I'd analyze the background of the what's going on in the background of the in the card. You know, the background behind the characters, or whatever. And I would just kind of make up stories of what was going on back there. Like it would just add to it. I'm sure that's a really weird kid thing. I'm sure I was the only one that probably did that. Yeah, that was a strange child. Oops. Oops. So I had this nice thick black line there, and I wanted to make it look like it had a edge to it. So I did that, and then this. There's another edge to this. Comes down, and these are. This is a wing edge here, so this thing is just if this comes out here, I don't even know what this is, but it's got to be darker under here because and it's gonna, so it comes there, and then it has a separate piece here. It has this piece which are just kind of a engine fin or something. I don't know what this is. It's just a piece of the ship back here. Don't know what it does. Just kind of playing with the shapes back there a little bit. Clean it up a little bit. There you go. And then maybe there's a space here between the actual, what will be the engine itself, and the engine probably has some kind of, we put a ring around it, and then on this ring is these kind of tubes and pipes or whatnot that go to the engine. I have this is a ring, and then these are little parts catching light around the engine. Has a little bit of, it's catching light, and then I really want this to, oops, wrong one. I want this to be dark here because this is really separating these parts. But at the same time, I want these kind of weird little, like, just little, I don't know what they're, little pieces of engine machinery things, whatever things you need for the engine to work. The ship's mechanics know how to fix it. Or when they take it to the spaceport, those guys know how to fix it. They're good at that stuff. All different, just edges to this kind of swiveling cannon thing here. It's kind of rotating cannon. I don't even know. It's just a serious hardcore weapon on the back of the ship. Up a little bit here. Let's go back and look at it. Yeah, I think it's coming together. Although I see a twist. So here you see the top of the ship and here you don't. So I've got to fix that. That's going to bug me to no end. So what part can I fix easier to fix? This, for some reason, seems more fixable. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. But we're gonna try. Edit. Paste in place. Edit. Skew it. So I can skew it to make it look like it's supposed to look. Does that look better? A little bit. I think I know how to fix this. Sort of. Let me see. Yeah, I could be totally screwing this thing up. Well, I think we made it worse than it was. So this part needs to come. This has got to curve up here, but down by the edges. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I might have to go with a serious. I might have to go with a more of a. I might have to do a puppet work on this thing. Because I need these points to stay where they're at. I don't want them to move. Just give me that a little bit. I don't want this one to move. I'll have to straighten out that gun. But I do want this part to move. That's weird, but okay. Whoa. We definitely have to fix that one. It's like an elephant trunk gun. Alright, we'll worry about that in a minute. I was trying to get this curve to match this thing, so. There. I think that looks better. Even though there's a trunk, that gun on the back needs to be fixed, but. So basically, because it's got to look like this back part here. It's following the top of the ship. Alright, and I'll fix that gun, obviously. Alright, and then. Yeah, this whole thing needs to be repaired now. Probably should have saved it before I did that, but whatever. I can fix it. Right, so now these windows are all wrong. But they were looking wrong anyway. They were looking twisted. So now I just gotta fix all this. totally possible to do it. Is it? It is. We're gonna just replace this gun barrel altogether. There. And then this crew quarter thing has to come over here too. See, the crew quarter window is probably throwing it off too. So crew quarter window has to be, you have to be able to see it, more of it. And then this has to come, the edge of the crew quarter window compartment has to be here. And this has to be up higher, so like you're seeing it from. See the way this line, this is got to continue on this line. There you go. That's better. And then this little thing here can be, that can be at an angle, that's fine. This needs to be curved, that's like that. Yeah, that looks better. Even though, like I said, I'm just gonna have to repair this. Just gonna replace these windows all together. Figure out how they're supposed to look before I put them in there. Let's get this part of it right first before I put them in there. So there, it's gonna go bing. There you go, that's better. Yeah, way better. The cannon, don't worry about this cannon. I'll get this cannon fixed in a minute. So, yeah, I think that looks better. This, because this engine here comes way out here, like that. So it's got to look like it, because it is sticking out towards us more, it's got to look like it goes over top of that. This stuff's in the background. These engine parts are in the background. There you go. There you go. That looks way better. Okay. And then this, actually, I got something interesting going on here. I got this kind of shape that got created here, so this shape could, like that, right? And then this would be part of this, which, like I said, it's got to come straighter. It's going to come this way, right? Yeah. So, like that. And this has a kind of an edge here where it turns, and this stays kind of like that. There you go. So this is kind of a straight thing here. It sticks out a little bit from the, there you go. So it's overlapping this piece of this wing. This wing design comes in here, and then, okay, and then this part, the crew quarters part, goes back here into the distance, and then the crew, this line right here, which is gonna have to be, yeah. And then this thing is straight, and then down, so keeping it level. Okay. This part, so I'm glad you were witness to me fixing this, because Didn't look right. It has bothered me. Okay, so this part's going to go here. It's going to come down. So this part is going to be... So then the cannon could literally be... The cannon could now be... We could now see the cannon forward. Might be interesting. If not, I'll move it in the back. Nothing is set in stone. So just work it out as it goes. And then this thing. This thing's gonna go like this. Okay. And this is gonna have to be like this. There you go. Okay, so it can still be there. It just was crooked. Alright. And then this line goes here. Oops. This line of ship goes there. This thing goes here. And this is behind it on a curve. There you go. Looks better. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay. And then this window of the goes here, and then this is the, I don't know, this just has lines going on it for some reason. Okay. Now, this thing, which had the windows, which seemed to be what was causing the majority of the problem. Let me do this again. Should look better. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, I like that. All right, so this is where you got the... I have to bring some light in here on this part of the ship. Edge of this here, and have this come down here like this. This sticks out a little bit here. Okay. And you got the windows there. Okay. And this just this elevated thing here, which has to be. There you go. This design for this reverse radar dish thing here, we don't know. It's got some wires hanging out. Wires. This is deep space radar type situation. So this gun, I use the shift key to get the line straight on it. Okay. Alright, and then okay, that's good. And then come down here and then this is the heavy artillery gun situation here. And okay, so this, there we go. Okay. Shadowy around it, I don't know. Okay. Alright. There you go. Okay, and then this is the some type of a engine thing here. There you go. That looks much better. The cannon. I don't know if I like the cannon going forward or backward or not. I don't know. Depends. So. Okay, so this is undefined here. I don't like undefined things. It looks. I'm gonna go ahead and. So I did all this work on that layer. I better put it down. Oops. Undo that. I only wanted to merge this layer now. Okay, now this is undefined. I do not like undefined parts. Besides, there is a distance between this part of the ship and this, because the wings are coming to it, to the edge of this engine pod. So, okay, so I want there to be some type of a separation between these elements of the ship. I feel like it shouldn't be just totally cut off there, down there. But I also don't want it to be. Okay. I want it to be separate pieces of the ship. Okay. Like these are. This looks unfinished here too. So this is kind of a separate wing piece that sticks out. It has this weird little thing where the two pieces come together on the wing design. And then they come out, they curve and come out to here. Attached to this engine, and this engine attaches here to this part of the wing, and it comes out, and it's a separate piece here off this part of this engine. This engine is definitely a separate piece from that, so yeah, there you go. So it's kind of a long design. Now, gotta hide this line right here because it's distracting. I don't need it anymore. I don't want it. And then, while I got my good old smudger tool out, I'll go ahead and connect this wing to the body of the ship, because the way it looks like it's not connected. I don't want that. I want it to look like it's connected. all. So the line there I don't want. Okay, yeah, and then this looks like, so I want this to looks like it continues right into down. So I'm going to use this smudge tool to pull these lines down. So okay, so it's definitely different from the initially the way I had it, but I think overall it's working. Alright, so yeah. Okay. So, this was our original of it. Kind of more interesting, isn't it? This one's too cleaned up almost. But I have some solutions for that. But I needed to. I need to harden up the edges and stuff, so. Let's save it. Save as Hunter 1, because Hunters was the original name of the book. I had to change it because somebody else had that name, so forgot what I changed the book to, but the ship still could be called Hunter 1. That's fine. So Hunter 1. I may make this radar dish smaller. Maybe it's a bit too crazy. Maybe I went too crazy with it. Oops. Paste in place. And then I would shrink it. I think that looks better. It was a bit too big, too ostentatious. So yeah. So this is pretty heavily armed ship. I like this. I like that second shrunken radar dish better too. So save as. I don't save 2 copies of it. So Hunter 1. I still want to call Hunter 1, but it's gonna be Shift _ 2 because I changed some stuff on it. All right, so I don't know how long we've been working here, but probably way too long. Probably over an hour. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to put the radar dish onto it. And I'm going to duplicate this layer. Okay, yep. All right, and then I'm going to close one of them, which is the original. And I got the copy. Now I'm going to take the copy and I'm going to adjust it. Okay. I'm going to brighten it up a little bit because I don't want it black. Up the contrast though, I do want the contrast there. And then I'm going to too crazy with that. Okay. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to adjust the hue and saturation. Is it black and white? It may be. I'll colorize it. Okay, there you go. Oh, I like that color. Kind of a copper color. I like it. Kind of coppery gold color. Saturate it more. There you go. This is the blue, kind of the cooler metal colors. Desaturate a little bit. I don't want to make it too bright because of it. Okay. Desaturation takes it back to the black and white color. Kind of like the sepia tone to it. Something about it looks good. Alright, and then just for fun, I know you're like, just stop, but just for fun, I am going to camera raw filter it. How much can I do with this thing? Sharpen the details. Okay. Basic. Change the temperature to cold. Oh, I kind of like that. Looks kind of cool. Tint it. Either way, exposure. Contrast. I still got the original, so too worried about it. Pumping everything up. Pump it up. Texture it a little bit. I like that. Oh, clarity actually kind of looks good on it a little bit. Pull some of those kind of details out. Dehazing it. I like it right there. Okay. Vibrance. Saturation. Okay. Effects. Grain. A little grainy. I don't know. I always like the grain. It looks good. Vignetting. That's really just affecting those little sample stuff down here. Optics. It's distorting it. I think I'll leave this alone. I don't want it distorted. Vignetting. I don't know what that's really doing for it, so I'll see. Well, I know what it does usually, but on this it doesn't seem to be affecting. Huh. So this is the original. That's the original. And then this is the camera raw. I kind of like a mixture of the two. So what if I took the camera raw and lowered the opacity of it to kind of bring out the little bit of both in it, like combine the two. What if the camera raw one was a multiply, a lighten, or overlay? Jeez, I don't know. I put it as a multiply. That's with it on there. It's without it. It adds a little something to it. If I see where the multiply affected it. Now I can really. Let's overlay. Screen dodge. Multiply. Difference. Oh. Exclusion. Duration. It's just interesting the different things you can do with this. I kind of like the multiply and then the lower the opacity on it. Felt it added just enough of something to it. Oh, this music sucks. Okay, so with, without, without, with. Yeah. Adds contrast. Alright, and then one more layer. And then just for fun, let's drop, see what it does. Fill it with, just see the way it looks. Okay, so when you do that, you can see all the little things I left out on it. I think it kind of makes it look better. Select. Okay. Yeah, I always like the gray on there. I don't know, it just makes it look better. Okay, so, and now I can see where you can also see when you get the gray on there, you can see where you can erase stuff. You can see it with the white on it. So. Alright, so we'll leave it there for right now. I'll come back to it when I paint it. But for right now, it's good. So we'll save it. Probably did need to do the extra stuff to it, but I did. So I did it. It's done now. It's too bad. Yeah, it's okay. Interesting ship. Okay, so like I said here, so we started out with scribbles, and I kind of like this one better than this one. That happens though, because you get this kind of spontaneity, and then when you bring it here, you kind of bring it all together, and it loses a little bit of spontaneity. But I'll work some more on it. I think I can go in and put some more spontaneity into it. It's kind of making it solid. All right, so that's the end of that. Let's stop our recording.